My name is Michael Dix Thomas. I had the pleasure of directing this reading for you all. It's really exciting for me to be doing this because, as Reba said, I was an alum. I worked with what was then the Children's Theater of Maine when I was in high school, and it is it was a big part of what brought me to study theater and become an actor and director and theater teacher professionally. So it's really exciting to be a part of this process now and to be volunteering for the Children's Museum and Theater of Maine. I'm so excited for you all to see this play, this dramatic and exciting play written by student Addie Rona. If you have any questions, please bring them back to us at the end. We'd love to talk to you about them. Addie asked me to speak to you all about her process in writing the play. I know that there were a number of drafts she came with. I know she did a lot of research on this period and on this play. But if you have questions about that, I will leave those for her to answer. So without any further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy Murder on the Titanic.
Act 1. The year is 1912. The Titanic has set sail unaware of its fate. On this boat are some notable people: Nicholas Harden, a world-famous detective, and Mary Smith, a young noblewoman on her way to celebrate her engagement to Matt Mill with her maid and butler. And even her brother came along, though they didn't want him to. Here we are a few days into the voyage.
I can't believe he said that to you. Does this happen often?
Unfortunately, yes. My brother and I have different perspectives. Mother agrees with me, which is a sore spot for him.
How did your mother's ticket end up being given to your brother?
You know Mother. She wants us to bond over this trip. I guess she forgot it was our engagement party ride.
Who knows what goes on in your mother's head half the time?
Excuse me, miss? It's time for your dinner.
Oh, gosh. Is it time already? How time flies. Shall we go?
I must change into my dining clothes. I will see you in the upper dining hall.
Are you feeling okay, Mary?
I just wish Scott and I got along better. It's just so easy to talk to Matt, and I feel so comfortable around him, and I know Scott hates him, and I just want everyone to be happy.
Oh. Do you want to call off the wedding?
No, I just...
It's fine, you can tell me.
He's not... His parents came here illegally.
Oh. Oh, shh. It's okay, no one will find out. It's fine, it'll be fine.
No, I'm being stupid. We have to go to dinner.
It's okay, we can be a little late.
No, I'm feeling much better. We should go.
Meanwhile,
what flowers do we have for the table tonight? Everything needs to be perfect.
Purple roses and peonies will be on the table.
Are you even listening? This needs to be perfect. This is my last chance to break up my sister and Matt. I forced Mother to give me her ticket for this. Hey, listen up. Oh, get up. It's time for dinner.
now let's check in with Mr. Nicholas Harden, our detective of the trip.
I wonder how long this boat ride will be. I need to get to my case in New York. People can't wait forever for a murder to be solved. Greetings.
Ah, hello, Mr. Harden. As a staff member of this ship, it is my duty to inform you that dinner is served in the dining room.
Ah, thank you, sir. I will head there right away.
Hello, Scott.
Master Smith to you.
I'm almost your brother-in-law. I can call you by your first name.
Not if I can help it.
I'm sorry. The rocking of the boat and the sea spray has clogged my ears. What did you say?
Just that you will call me Master Scott until you are my brother-in-law. Got it? Well, chop, chop. I want some pea soup to start, and I'm sure my sister and her fiancé would like the same.
You mustn't let him push you around like that.
I know, but Mother says a good woman keeps her mouth shut.
Well, shame on your mom if she doesn't think that you have.
Mother says whispering is unladylike, so you must have a good reason. Would you care to tell me?
Nothing.
Mother.
Yeah, just Mrs. Smith.
Could you have been any slower?
We must go eat with the other servants, but ham and potatoes will be coming soon. Call and we will come.
I don't feel very good. I think there might be something in my soup. I'll be in my room.
Don't worry. I'll check on you when we're done.
Where did Mary go?
She felt sick, so she went up to her room.
Sir, we need you now. There's been a murder on board.
Where? Show me.
Over here.
Do we have a doctor on board?
Yes, he has been sent for.
Good. You're the Smith family maid?
Yes, I primarily work for Mary, and Craig primarily works for Master Smith.
And you are?
I'm Matt Mills, Mary's fiance. This was supposed to be our engagement voyage.
Hello, doctor. Can you tell me the cause of death? One more thing. Why is Master Smith here?
My sister just died. Where should I be?
I mean, why are you on this boat? It's their engagement voyage.
Mother gave me her ticket.
She was poisoned. Did they say anything before she went to her room?
She said she didn't feel good, so she came to lie down. An hour later, I came up to check on her, and here she was.
Has she been in contact with anyone but you four?
No.
Thank you. I will be in contact with you tomorrow to question you individually.
Act 2. The next day.
I am Detective Nicholas Harden. You are June Evans, the Smith family maid, working primarily for Miss Mary Smith.
Yes.
I noticed that you called Miss Smith Mary. Are you on a first name basis?
Yes, we were very close. We told each other everything.
Do you think someone might have a grudge against her?
Her brother. They fought all the time. They had an argument yesterday. Mary was very upset. She's a very sweet girl.
That could be a motive. What would happen to you if Mary dies?
I've talked to the Smith family about this. If Mary died, I am relieved of my duty. I'm planning to visit my mother after this. The Smith family's been very kind to me. But I never would have thought of leaving. The whole family, except maybe Scott, have been very nice.
Going free. That could be a motive. You may go now, and please tell Mr. Jones to come in. Hello, Mr. Jones. Please have a seat. I am Nicholas Harden, and you are Craig Jones, the Smith family butler, primarily working for Master Scott.
Yes.
Mrs. Evans said that Master and Miss Smith had a fight before dinner. Were you aware of this?
No, I had no idea. We never really talk. He treats me as a butler, not a friend.
Mrs. Evans told me that if Miss Smith died, that she gets relieved of her duty to the family. Is that true for you if Master Smith dies?
Correct. Even though Master Smith treats me poorly, the rest of the family has been very kind.
Thank you. You may leave now, and please tell Mr. Mill to join me. Have a seat. I am Detective Nicholas Harden, and you are Matt Mill, Miss Smith's fiancé.
Correct.
Mrs. Evans and Mr. Jones said that Miss and Master Smith had a fight before dinner. Did you hear anything about it?
Mary confided in me about it. It was the regular argument about her not being ladylike enough and not being a good daughter.
Do you agree with him?
Definitely not. Mary is an independent woman, not an object.
Of course.
Her family has money, so my parents wanted me to marry her, even though it was an arranged marriage. She's always been very nice to me, and over time we actually fell in love.
Thank you so much. Please call in Master Smith. Greetings. I am Nicholas Harden, and you are Scott Smith, Miss Smith's brother.
Yes.
I heard you and Miss Smith had a fight before dinner. Is that true?
No. Well, we had a small disagreement, but nothing more than sibling bickering.
If you say so. Do you think anyone would have a grudge against her?
Matt, she knows something about him that he doesn't want her to share.
I'll look into that. Would you please get Mrs. Evans? You said Miss Smith told you everything.
Yes, I was her friend through tough times, and she helped me through my own tough times.
Did she ever tell you anything about Mr. Mill?
No, we never talked about Mr. Mill.
You are clearly lying, so thank you. And tell Mr. Mill to come in here. I know you have a secret. Just tell me. It will help me find out who poisoned your fiancé.
Okay. I'm only telling you this because of Mary. My parents came here illegally during the potato famine, and Mary found out. She said she would keep it a secret, but I can't blame her. I shouldn't even be here.
That is not what I was expecting, but I won't turn you in. I had family in Ireland during the famine. Now, if someone tried to poison you and someone mixed up the soup, but the only people near the soup were the maid and the butler, how does Mr. Smith treat his brother, Mr. Jones, his butler, Mr. Jones?
Horrible. He treats him like Mr. Jones isn't even human.
I have it. I have it. Mr. Mill, go get everyone and tell them to meet me. I need to check something, and then I will know for sure.
Act 3. What is the meaning of this?
I have solved the case relating to Miss Smith.
Really?
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 Indeed.
Why are we so low on the boat?
We are in my quarters. Unlike you, I am not rich. I was unable to get a first-class cabin.
Okay, so get on with it.
Fine, but I will not be arresting anyone today.
What?
There was a murder and you're not arresting anyone?
I haven't made any decisions, but that will most likely be the result. I would like to confer with the captain. Will you go get him? Captain, this was an accidental murder, though it was directed at someone else, not as a murder, but to make someone else severely sick. Captain, I believe you will agree with me that this person acted maybe a little harshly, but was justified.
I am intrigued, Mr. Harden.
This person was mistreated and meant to lose their job. That's why they poisoned the soup. Not enough to kill who they meant to kill, mind you, but enough to make them sick, knowing they would be blamed for the sickness and then fired. This poison is highly dependent on the weight of the person. So when the bowls got swapped and poor Miss Smith got the poisoned bowl, her lighter weight caused the poison to kill her. So now we must think, who mistreated someone enough for them to risk being in extreme poverty to escape it? I think we all know the answer. Master Scott Smith.
It's true. I want to leave, and I couldn't think of any other way. Arrest me.
Use.
He will not be arrested. It's my boat. If anything, you are responsible for your sister's death.
It's true. You've been nothing but horrible to everyone.
Well, if you're going to be like that.
I have to go. Something about an iceberg. It's probably nothing.
Thank you so much for everything.
It's my job.
The end.
Thank you so much, actors. That was awesome. That was awesome. Can we bring the playwright on as well? Addie, do you want to turn your camera on? Great.
Hey.
That was amazing. That was so cool to see.
Oh.
It was so cool to see this play come to life, and it was tremendous. Thank you so much. And Michael, the direction was awesome, and it was so cool I think you also cast it brilliantly. So I just want to take a moment, and can we just go and introduce the actors, and actors, particularly if you are alumni of the Children's Theater, I'd love to hear a little bit about that. Can we start with Hannah playing June Evans?
Hi, everyone. My name is Hannah Daly, and I am an alum of Children's Theater back when it was on Marginal Way. I grew up doing a lot of plays there throughout the years. And I actually was in a couple plays with Bethy, who played Mary back in the day. So this has been really fun to get to revisit the world of Children's Theater in Maine.
Thank you. Can we hear next from Adam playing Scott Smith?
Hey, I'm Adam Ferguson, also a alum of Children's Theater of Maine. I actually did several shows with Bethy as well, including the first one that I ever did when I was 10, where I played her brother in that as well, though the outcome for our characters was very different in that.
What play was that? What play was that?
It was actually, well, it's funny how these things come full circle. It was also written by, like, we were kids at the time, and it was written by other kids for their like summer camp program, and it was a show called All Your Hopes and Dreams, about a girl whose imaginary friend comes back, and I played her brother Toby. And yeah, I did just a bunch of other shows over the years. You know, the Hobbit, Oliver, Annie, Midsummer Night's Dream with Andrew as well. And yeah, just really. I mean, I can probably others that I'm not even thinking of, but yeah, it's just a wonderful time in my life, and I'm glad to be back, worked on shows for it.
Awesome. Thank you. I got very distracted by Ellie on screen.
I mean, listen, understandable. You could probably have just put her on here for a few minutes.
Andrew, do you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, I was in my first CTM play in 1994. It was, no, 1991. It was James and the Giant Peach. And I did a bunch of plays when I was a kid, and then Shakespeare stuff and other things up until I was a teenager. And I did some like stage management even as a young adult too, with a lot of these people. And actually I met Bethy at a audition for a Young Playwrights Contest show in 1998. So, and we are married and that is our kid. So I feel very connected to CTM and the Children's Theater and the Young Playwrights Contest.
Awesome. Joe,
We
will
can
you go
trade
next?
duties and I can let Bethy talk if you like.
Oh, yes, yes. While we're waiting, let's hear from Joe.
I'm Joe Quinn. I am a local Portland area actor. I've not worked with the Children's Theater before, but I'm very, very supportive of the mission. I think it's a wonderful resource for Greater Portland youth to have.
Thank you. Bethy, we're just making introductions and also hearing a little bit from alums. So.
Okay, well, I'm Bethy Fowler. I'm a CTM alum. I started when I was in middle school and started doing lots of shows at summer camps and Shakespeare, and worked with like Adam and Andrew and Mike as kids. And it was great. It totally put me on a path towards theater as well.
Jocelyn, over to you.
Hi, I'm Jocelyn Handy.
Well,
I sadly missed out on CTM as a child. I didn't grow up in Maine, and but I take my own kids to CTM, and I'm on the theater committee there, and I love them, and I similarly think what they do is absolutely wonderful, and I was so excited to participate in this, and I'm involved in theater in the South Maine area.
Awesome. Thank you, Jocelyn. Georgia.
Hi, yes, I'm Georgia Jenkins. I am a member of the Children's Museum and we've gone to see shows with my kids, but this is my first time being involved as an actor and have a theater history from, you know, in my childhood and into college, but I'm not from Maine. Yeah, and it was really fun to be involved in this.
Awesome. Thank you. I mean, this was awesome. You guys did such a great job, and it was so lovely to watch you fully committing to your roles, and I think Addie is very happy. Thank you. I want to open it up to questions from the audience. If the audience has any questions for any of the actors or for Addie, you can just type your question into the chat. You can also turn on your screen so we can see you. Sometimes it's really nice to see everybody who is watching. I see Sal right now. Hi, Sal.
Say it again. Say it again.
I have a question.
Yeah, what is it?
Why did we not get to see the Titanic crashing?
Yes, that's a great question. I'm going to pass this over to you, Michael.
Oh, great. Well, that is an excellent question, and I feel like the resolution of the play, as written by Addie, very much leaves the actual crash of the Titanic like unsaid. But if we were staging this with a full budget, we might be able to end this play with the disaster of the Titanic, which might be fun and something to play around with. Unfortunately, we didn't have the budget, we didn't have the time, and we were on Zoom. So that is why we did not include the sinking of the Titanic in this particular production of Murder on the Titanic.
Mm-hmm. And if I could add on to that, another thing is, for me at least, I've always loved the stories where they have like a closing, but there's definitely some part that's open to imagination. So for you guys, whatever you think happened might have happened to the rest of these characters at the end of the Titanic. Maybe they survived, maybe they didn't, maybe some of them did. So yeah.
I remember, Addie, having a lot of conversations when you were in your revising process about cliffhangers and how much we love cliffhangers and like this idea of like that kind of cliffhanger ending where it leaves you wanting more and your imagination just keeps going. And those are, for me, my favorite kind of endings.
Reba and Michael and Addie, can we ask a follow-up question connected to that? What do you want to ask?
What are cliffhangers?
So you know a cliff, like when you're like walking along and all of a sudden it's like you're like here and then all of a sudden there's a cliff.
Yeah.
So and you're like, oh wow, I'm glad I didn't fall.
Yeah.
So sometimes if a story, like there are stories that end with like, and they lived happily ever after, right? You know those kinds of stories?
Yeah.
There's another kind of story ending that's called a cliffhanger where you kind of go right up to this edge and it drops off and your imagination just has to like keep going. And you get to decide, is it a happily ever after or is it a sinking ship?
Pretty cool, huh?
But
Thank
Sal,
you.
what do you think happened?
I don't know. Maybe a giant lifeboat came along. What if a giant lifeboat came along 10 times the size of the Titanic?
A giant lifeboat, that would have been nice. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Sal, and thank you, Julie. So we have a few more questions rolling in. This one, how do you like the use of ensemble as character actors? I think this one's for Joe.
It's a lot of fun because you get to play a lot of different characters within the same show. You have to find ways to make each one of them an individual. And so it's a lot of fun to do as an actor.
And I know that when I had a chance to talk to Addie earlier this week about it, Addie, you talked a little bit about why you created that role as one actor playing all those parts. Would you talk about that now?
Sure. So one of the reasons is obviously the ship staff were a huge part of the Titanic, and I wanted to incorporate that somehow. And the other thing was that I definitely needed something to help the story along, narrate, work on transitions. And I felt that this servant character or this ship staff member would be really helpful in providing that. And I like the idea of meeting the captain and all of that. And I thought it'd be really cool to create this one ensemble character who would have all of those roles and more and be able to play all of those different things that are all similar but still different. And I thought the same character would be cool to kind of represent how they're similar but also how they're different.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, you did a great job with that, Addie. And Joe, I loved the moment of putting on the hat. Our next question, Addie, what was your biggest challenge while writing this story?
Probably kind of getting started, because I knew immediately right off the bat when the challenge came off that I wanted to write a murder mystery, because I've wanted to write a murder mystery for like a solid year or two now. And I finally had the time to, and I was like, hey, they're doing this challenge. Let's write it in a script format. But then I had to figure out characters, just the whole plot line and all of that stuff. And then once I got that started, I could kind of run with it and that was awesome. But yeah, the biggest challenge is probably getting started and working all the characters in and getting really iconic moments for each character where they really got to express who they really were.
Awesome. Do we have any more questions? Feel free to put them in the chat. I'm going to just start rambling a little bit. Oh, could we actually keep you on the line, Addie? And do you mind revealing a little bit about your dramaturgical research? So what kind of research did you do that went into this production?
So yeah, when I started, the first thing was, especially with the 10-day writing challenge, a big part of it was choosing characters. I went through and I ended up doing a lot more research than I actually intended when I started, looking at what they would wear and kind of styles that were common, different social ranks, and how people were often treated in those different social ranks. Different terminology that they might use. I tried to avoid modern words, which was a little bit harder than I thought it would be. But yeah. So there's a lot of that, and then a lot of looking into just different common things of the time, so I could figure out kind of how the whole feel of the play, what that would be.
Is Allison McCall still here? I think so.
I am Reba.
Allison, I just want to also give you credit as Addie's writing mentor. You were there working with her script, and I'm wondering if you want to talk about the process of mentoring her a little bit.
Yeah, I had the absolute pleasure of working with Addie, and Addie and we've known each other for such a long time. So it was so cool to kind of work together playwriting again, because actually a couple years ago, I was writing a play for the Children's Museum and Theater of Maine, and Addie was in my cast, and we would do playmaking together. So she actually got to help me write a play. So it was so nice to then role reverse, and I got to kind of like come in and chime in sometimes. But yeah, it was so much fun just getting the different scenes and posing questions, especially with something with historical context. So it was really fun finding those, like the truths of our history, and then really embracing creating these characters from scratch and how their own rich character history can fit into everything. And yeah, Addie, I give you so much kudos for all of the research that you were doing and pouring into this.
Absolutely. We have another question. As actors, do you enjoy this sort of workshopping work or walking into a finished part in a polished play? So I saw Hannah had a interesting smile. Hannah, do you want to take this one?
Oh, sure. Sometimes my face does things I don't know it's doing. I love workshopping a play like this, especially getting to work with a play written by a young person like Addie. It's so exciting. I remember one of my favorite things about theater when I was starting with it as a kid was how I felt like it was the only place in my life where adults really treated me as an equal. And I love what Children's Theater has done in taking these young playwrights' work and placing such importance on them and treating them with such respect. So I've loved being part of this.
Excellent. Does anyone else want to talk about just the difference between workshopping a play and being part of a reading for a very first time versus like working on a play that's been workshopped and made its rounds at lots of theaters?
Yeah, It's just a lot of fun. I think you sort of feel like you're part of the process, and it's kind of exciting to see it like kind of mold, and then you get a chance to talk to the playwright and find out, kind of what their ideas were and what went into it. So yeah, you feel like you're, I mean, obviously you're always shaping it, but like especially if it's not such a like set in stone text, there's a lot more of that kind of collaborative process, I think.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Oh, I saw you had your hand up for a moment.
Yeah, pretty much echoing that. Working on a new piece can be very exciting because you are going along with the playwright and discovering the voice of that particular character. And you can sometimes have a certain amount of input as to how that character is shaped by the energy that you bring to the part. And you just enjoyed seeing the piece take shape and become something that is its own animal, as it were, and ready to be put before an audience. So it's exciting and a little bit of a thrill ride, because you never know entirely how it's going to turn out. So got to include that benefit.
Awesome. I do want to thank our cast again, our delightful and generous volunteer cast of adult actors to do this project. This was so exciting. And Addie, I have a question for you now that you've heard the play read by these adult actors. Is there anything that stuck out to you as surprising or different, or something that you heard in a new way coming from these actors than how you wrote it? Something that you thought about differently having had other people read your words than when you wrote them?
I loved how much of a professional tone almost having adult actors brought to it, where between having more experience and kind of knowing what you're getting into, it took it up a total notch, and it was amazing to see that how that experience kind of funneled in.
Cool. One thing that when we're talking about a play, when we're talking about a play being in process, right? A workshop of a play, the idea that the playwright has the play read by actors, maybe goes back and makes some changes, more actors, another reading before it's staged. Is there anything that now that you've heard, you think you would want to tweak or change a little bit? And it's okay if there isn't, but if there's anything that's kind of cooking around in your head that might be a little different now.
Something I definitely would be interested in is probably just adding more depth to characters, just even more to just throw in and make them more complicated, giving people more things to work with. And yeah, I think it would be awesome to just kind of add more